Hey guys, how's everyone doing? 29 people already. Hi Christina from Florida, Card Shop Reality. Hope you all had a great weekend. And we're back at it. We have survived another week. Wow, already 8 thumbs up. You guys are so awesome. Hi. Yes, Card Shop Reality. Hi. Jean McIntyre, you just cracked me up. If you only knew. You're very sweet, but I don't like being in front of the camera. I'm a behind the camera type of gal. Card Shop was number 9. Hi, with flying colors. Uncle JJ is getting himself camera ready for you guys. Hi Tony, I hope you had a good weekend. We worked, but it wasn't that bad. Gift was sent today. Oh, God, Dozer, you're so awesome. Hi Stephanie. You guys are so awesome. Are people getting their money? That's exciting. See, I'm not nearly as entertaining as JJ is behind the camera. I don't know where he's ran off to, but I hear him. Hi, Tony. God's Dozer, you got your PPP today. Congratulations. And the man has entered the building, so let me finish getting him set up. And then he can come take over. Exactly, Jason. I agree. All right. Live chat. Here he comes.
All right. Look at everybody. Already we got 80 people, 23 thumbs up. Hope everybody's doing well. Oh my goodness. We got all kinds of people rocking and rolling. We're still jamming on PPP. You know me. Who's down with PPP? Did everybody have a good weekend? We did. We did relax a little. We took in a little bit of Better Call Saul because we absolutely really enjoy that show, but we completely did not know that they already did the whole 5th season. We've just been busy. And someone told me, it was Tony, and hey, Tiffany P, happy Monday. Someone was telling me, I think it was Tony's son, that maybe something's coming down the pike on, I don't know if you could hear that, but I was trying to do a drum roll, on EIDL. So I did a video last night, kind of on the update. You know, I'm doing those. It seems like I'm trying to do them every night, but you know, I don't know if there's that much going on, and I kind of feel like that the PPP and the EIDL, it just getting to where it's like, well, is there anything new to report? So we do see, let's see, Nancy H, boom, boom, boom. All right, God Dozer, I heard that as I was coming around the corner. Let's see, we got Tony, happy Monday. Jean, boom.
Where is it that you wanted to be recorded for the...
Oh, you know what? I was going to set it up and it's too late.
Okay.
I messed it up. I didn't get it done. Let's see. Kathy, thank you so much. And Hector and Leslie and Darkwater Megs. Interested to get the update today. Going to miss watching these sessions live when things get back to normal. Yeah, you know, Jason, I know you had brought that up, so it might be good timing. I think this week we are thinking that we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just because we've got some things that are getting back on our plates just related to kids and some of the things that they're involved with. And Thursday, my daughter graduates college, and they're not walking, but there's Thursday going to be some celebration going on that is out at her boyfriend's place. And that's sign of the times, right? You know, your daughter's getting old enough that they're doing celebration not at your own house. But anyway, so Thursday I'm tied up. Tomorrow my son's got something going on. So we're gonna go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then we'll just see from there, you know. But I do plan to go live. It's a great way. You know, when I first went live, it was really just to do one thing. And I had told Amanda, I said, you know, I've got so many of these questions. And of course, this is about a month ago. I said, I have so many of these questions. Why don't I just go live and I'll just hurry and answer them? And so I think we even said, hey, we're going live at such and such, maybe. And then it just was, we had a lot of people that were wanting to get answers on stuff. So we will be looking at that. Jason, I know what you're saying though. Charlotte, happy Monday. I got an SBA letter with a loan number for PPP, no funds yet. Wells Fargo sent me a contract to sign. Do I wait until funds are deposited or signed? I think you're gonna have to sign the contract first, but give Wells a ring on that. Yes, rumor I heard was portal reopens for the rest of us tomorrow, Tuesday. So I appreciate that. Coaches, and that was Card Shop Reality, and Card Shop Reality sent us this awesome t-shirt and cards and whatnot. And then next right in the queue there is Coach's Pit Barbecue. Got the PPP, but no EIDL. Hopefully the PPP is more, and we're hearing more and more of that at the end of the last week, Amanda. And now is Tony on? I know we have Tony on.
We have two Tonys.
We have both Tonys.
Tonys.
So today, okay, let's jump right into this part, and then we're gonna jump back. But today, we got the most wonderful care package, and I had to start off by wearing a jacket, right? But we got from Tony the one that has breathed life into B4B Cares, which you need to go to b4bcares.org, and it's basically a nonprofit that's been set up to help businesses in this time of need, even beyond just the financial. But we've got two, right? I showed you the two other t-shirts. We got two of these like snazzy, gonna go play golf, wicking, like sweat, you know, wick your sweat type polo shirts. But here's what's exciting. I'm gonna tell you this. This is a medium and it's fitting me. It's a medium. So I like, Tony's like, you don't need no extra large.
Yeah.
And you don't even need a large. We're sending medium. But then listen, this is these are quite valuable. And from where they're at, the cardiac care group. So these are legit face masks that we've got here. So we really appreciate that. I don't know if you can tell, it's so bright. Can you tell on the screen? Yeah, here we go. So we got enough for Amanda and I and the kids. So thank you for that, Tony. Truly protection. And then we got two of these. Now, one of these didn't quite survive, but look at this. It is glass, especially blown glass. And if I remember correctly, Tony told me that it was from a friend of his up in the New York area. And then look at this. So they basically are very proactive. And I work with a number of doctors, but I've not seen anything quite like what Tony has lined up here. But they've got these little mouse pads, I guess they would be, or coasters that are hearts. And on these, it talks about the warning signs of a heart attack, right? So this is something neat that they're handing out, as well as this. They have it's February, the month of February, it's Heart Month, so they hand out these, but it's truly hand-blown glass here, so I felt terrible when we opened and there was one of them broken. But then for the guys, I don't know, can you tell what this is? Basically, it's a boxing glove, right? We got three of them, but these go fast. My son Cooper already wanted one, right? These are like legit, so thank you for that. And they say the logo on there. And then very, very touched. We'll go up in my office. I was very, very touched. But Tony wrote out, in essence, his email that he wrote to me, and it meant so much, and it will mean so much for me to hang this up. And we've got CARES ready to rock, b4bcares.org. This weekend we added the donate button.
We received our first donation today from one of our loyal guests on here. And
we did. Well, thank you so much. What's the initials? Aw. Well, thank you. Was Jason?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that, buddy. Boom. Inaugural.
Yeah.
Beat
Our
everybody.
first donation came through
Beat
on
everybody.
Facebook.
Tony, we've already got it going. Thank you so much. You know, and what we're doing with b4bcares.org, you can go and check out the website, but it's meant to be hand up, not a handout. So we're helping businesses by giving them time, an ear, some professional advice, maybe a connection, maybe a call to a third party. I'll tell you this right now, Tony would be great for visiting with a third party to help maybe a smaller business. He's with his background, especially on Wall Street, and all the individuals that he's probably dealt with and talked throughout the years. He really knows how to get down to brass tacks. But Tony, thank you so much for this. We called him right away. We tore it all open, pulled it out, and called Tony right away. So we really appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. And he sent me my own book, but I've never had anybody send me my own book that they bought, and it said, JJ, need you to, I can't quite read it because I need my glasses on. Need your autograph. Aw, I got to take a picture of that. You can give back to me when we meet. So we look forward to that. And then Robert sent a video of Robert of Philadelphia Salons. And we won't give it away because we'll just turn it into part of the reality show.
Right.
Other than to say he's invited us down to Florida. And he's going to put us up at the Four Seasons, and we're going to go and he's got 3 different locations and meet his family, meet everybody that is part of his extended family. So we gave away that. We shared that.
Yeah.
But we're not going to share the rest. We're not sharing the rest. Now we'll tell you. All right. All right. Robert, how are you, sir? And Robert said, he said, hey, and maybe, and we've got to have Tony over. He did. He literally did. He said, we got to have Tony over. And Julio, CPA, I know he's been busy. But anyways, Tony, thank you so much. We were just so taken aback, and this is wonderful to have things around us as well to remind us of you and to remind us of everything that we're doing here. And so anyways, wanted to just take a special minute, walk through that. Here's the other shirt. And so I'm going to just wear this today, right there. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've got a bunch of questions. I'm going to buzz through them. But I did want to say hi to a few more people.
Absolutely.
Do you have some shout outs, Amanda? Who else?
Tony says it takes a village, and it does.
Yeah.
It does. I did just see somebody, Los 3 Day La Habana says, hello JJ, I'm a self-employed person and a musician, and today I received my PPP from Bank of America.
Oh, from BOA.
Thank you very much for all your information and updates.
Well, thank you for that. I'm glad that you got some money out of that. So, and let's see, Fred, greetings to all of the regulars and welcome to the newbies. We are awaiting amazing JJ and his soulmate, Amanda. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. Card Shop Reality, hear you on that, but hopefully you'll be back open. Fred, JM Godozer, let's see. Glad to hear people are finally getting PPP. You're right. Let's see. Yes.
Stefan, and he got the PPP today, applied on April 15th through Wells Fargo. That was around the same time JJ was spazzing out about this is your last chance and the time is ticking. So I was late to the party, but thank you.
All right. Well, I'm so glad Wells Fargo came through. I know we've got a couple that I'm just really crossing my fingers on and really, really hoping. All right, JM and let's see, Dorina. Let's see, so you're right, yeah, you're just gonna take it divided by 52 times 8, and you don't have to worry about it. It's different on the sole proprietor. Leslie, let's see.
NCH is on.
I saw that, yes,
Did
I
you?
saw her,
Okay.
gave her a shout out earlier. Let's see, Leslie, yeah, you're just gonna, I've got a couple of videos on that. I kind of changed the titles of my playlist. I was reading something this weekend, and instead of it just being code names, but there's a playlist that, you know, learning about PPP for self-employed. So check that out. I've got a bunch of videos in there that'll address what you've got. And the 75% doesn't count in essence for the self-employed. And let's see, Will, and let's see, got the grant and PPP loan. Hey, Will, just spend them on different things and you'll be okay. Spend the PPP on what it's supposed to. And you'll be good. Let's see, John and Dorina and Christine, hello. JM signed up for POA, not sure. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people waiting on that. And let's see, Tony, we did have a good weekend. Thank you for that. Stephanie saying hi to Amanda, Benjamin. And we got Charlotte and Benny, hello. Let's see, howdy Amanda, says Fred. And we got Will and Mickety Mac. Don't look back. That's what I've been thinking of all last week. Every time I heard Mickety Mac, isn't that don't look back?
Mickety Mac.
Yeah, but it's like don't jump back.
Yeah, don't go back or something like that.
All right, Jason, we got JM. Who else we got here? Richard. Oh gosh, it just jumped like a son of a gun here. Coming glass in New York, Tony says. And let's see. Oh, just wanting to say hi to a few people. T. Salazar, and we've got Nathan, and let's see, Serena just popping through. Oh, Maria Lee, MLB, BBB funded, PPP funded yesterday. Amazing past 3 days. And oh, Tina's on. Thank you so much. We've got Nathan, JJ. I got PPP. Boom. Didn't count any of the partnership draws, so. Only offering X amount of dollars. Does that mean I can't apply elsewhere? I don't know the real answer to that because we haven't had it long enough, but my understanding is from other experiences is that the SBA is letting you have one shot on it, one shot at it. So check with the bank that you originally got it with. And I don't really know. I hate for you to miss up on any of that stuff, but we'll just let you take care of that by talking with the bank. Let's see, Terry DAngelo.
Coach's Pit Barbecue's on.
Yes, and let's see. Yeah, I was showing their T-shirt.
No, but they just said hello.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, at 4:18.
Oh, well, I saw them earlier, I thought. Did I get the wrong barbecue? Maybe they came, maybe they're back. See, there was Card Shop, Reality, and then Coach's Pit Barbecue.
No, well, he said hello, JJ and Amanda.
Well, roll back because we just talked about your shirt. Let's see, Vincent Lee, JJ, how about PPP and part-time workers? They absolutely, you can use them, and then part-time workers, add up the hours to divide them by 40 to determine your full-time equivalents. Oh yeah, there we go. Mickety Mac, don't come back. And let's see, we've got Chris and Nathan and Mary Cooper. Happy Friday. Happy Monday. And let's see, SCP. Yeah, so Los 3, go to my playlist. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about next is the reality show, because I want to say in the last, I don't know, 7 days, wasn't I on? It's no secret, we've got Big Hoss Backyard Barbecue from Kettle Falls, Washington, and Vernita and Steven. But wasn't it last week that I was on the horn with them at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was on the horn with Steven a couple hours Sunday. And so we're maybe 5 hours in, and you're going to see an upcoming video, but I've got, oh gosh, well, they'll see it in the episode.
Yeah.
But we have our inaugural episode. We haven't decided exactly when, because what we want to try and do is make sure that if we do 3 times a week, what are those times?
Right.
When are they released?
Yep.
That way that they are that case. But I had a table full of notes. We came down, kind of making some big decisions. But up in Washington, they are extending the stay at home till the end of May, which had a pretty big effect on them. And being a barbecue spot now, they can do takeout, but they got word that some fairs, that they usually will do their, their food truck at, are canceling. They've had some catering events that have canceled, all just normal stuff that would come out of this. And so we're kind of looking at on the brink kind of decisions here, because right now, I'm going to tell you, and maybe we might know by the time it airs, but we're still up in the air on that PPP, and that's going to make a huge difference. Do they go left or do they go right? So anyway, spent some time out this weekend.
Yep.
We did a little relaxing. I shot some videos. Here's what I'm doing. So I've got the Group 300, and I'm doing 5 minutes or less, if not 3 minutes or less videos coming out at 6 a.m. And then decided with my numbers, I'm doing a simplicity of numbers, JJ the CPA by the numbers. And it's a series that I'm putting together that it'll come out every Wednesday at noon. And it's to give you something different to think about numbers that you've seen your entire life or career, but you may have not looked at that number and thought about something that I'm going to have you think about. So it requires no homework. It just requires some, thought that goes into that. And then I've got every Friday at noon, I'm going to be releasing a video specifically for CPAs and EAs. My next one's talking about ethics, and it's not like the other videos I've done, but as CPAs and EAs, tax pros, we have a different way that we look at ethics. And it's not about wrongdoing on ethics. It's more about qualification. So I'm excited about that. And then we've gotten a lot of individuals asking about this S-Corp deal. And so I'm going to do a couple of videos, and I'm starting a series that's going to be called Learning with JJ the CPA. So if you can tell, as we're now coming out of the emergency state of PPP, I'm trying to maybe put together some series that will allow people to kind of maybe dig in and grasp and want to follow and continue to watch some of these videos. And so I think if I'm doing some of these sprinkles of various things, see what takes. But I do think the Learning with JJ the CPA will be a great series in the sense of trying to tackle things for business. But then I really feel like a lot of the stuff I'm doing is related to business. And so I do need to think how I can do a series on providing information for those that don't own businesses. I know that we got a huge attraction of people to my channel that own businesses and sole proprietors. Today, I was getting caught up on some email I didn't realize, but I've had email go in 2 places and not just one. And so there's a bunch of emails going back like 3 weeks.
Oh no.
4 weeks that I didn't even see before. So my apologies this is my client email address. So I'm behind on that. I know we've been built up. Do we have some questions that we're going to go through on the emails do we have any that are outside of PUA and PPP? Let me tell you this, if you go to the playlist and it's called, learn about unemployment. I guess I need to look up the name, but it's pretty clear. I have a playlist that talks about unemployment. It's also in Hear About the Most Common Questions by JJ, but we've heard a lot of people inquiring of, can I do PUA and PPP, or can I do PUA and EIDL? And then we've had a few of our regulars email, and they're like, JJ, why do you keep answering the same questions? You know, you made videos about it. You know, refer them to the videos. And it's kind of like, yeah, you know, that's true. I've got over 220 videos related to PPP, the application process, forgiveness, EIDL, SBA, the CARES Act, and adding to it. And so I did spend time this weekend going through the playlist. And if you look at the playlist, I made it a little more clear what the playlists are about. Did clean out some of the videos and some of the playlists. But do we have a few questions that we want to hit?
Well, and this is an FYI coming from Candace, who wanted to let us know that she just randomly checked the SBA website for EIDL, and they have it updated and is only open for a certain industry right now, agriculture. So she just wanted to pass the information along, and it says at this time only agricultural business applications will be accepted due to limitations in funding availability and the unprecedented submission of applications already received.
Wow, okay.
So
let's see. Well, I am seeing that, let's see. I'm only turning my back because I just looked at it. When I go to the SBA website, where it's talking about the 10,000 advance, mine's still coming up with nothing. Anybody finding anything on the 10,000 advance? Just as an FYI, the EIDL, there has always been, if you have an emergency not related to COVID-19, they were considering advances for those that are related to that. So I will have to take a look because I am not seeing, Amanda, do you see anything? SBA. So we're looking live right here on the SBA website, seeing if we've come across anything. So COVID-19, click here, click more about, let's see, so the SBA says they're gonna resume April 27th, but that's on PPP. And then let's see, we've got our options, additional funding. Let's see, okay, look here, additional funding, click here, I'm going down to the 10,000 advance, EIDL. All right, well, hey, if you can send us if you could send us a link to the page that you're talking about. On that same page, they have had where if you're not affected by COVID, you can apply. So maybe there is something new related to that. Hey, real quick though, couple of quick things. If you are looking at payroll tax credits, I've done some videos on it, but the IRS has pretty well clamped on. They answered one of my last two questions I've talked about in the video, but you cannot take the employee retention credit if you're gonna get PPP funds. And what the IRS clarified was that it doesn't matter when you get PPP, you don't get ERC. So that's what I was waiting on. The other part I'm waiting on though is what if you did? What happens if you did get employee retention credit and you were able to get some PPP funds, because maybe in round 2, so we need the IRS to tell us about the recapture.
right here.
Oh, okay. Let's see. At this time, wow, what is the, so how did you just renew it? How did you get this page?
Oh, I just clicked apply.
You what?
I clicked apply.
You clicked apply.
I went here.
New eligibility.
I went here.
You went
learn
there.
more,
Well, they've got like a backdoor
then-
page.
right here.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go give my yours updated. So it says economic injury disaster. This is hot off the press. Thank you so much for the email. SBA will begin accepting the EIDL advance on a limited basis only. And it's on the agricultural, includes businesses engaged in the production of food and fiber, ranching and raising livestock, aquaculture, and all other farming and agricultural related industries, as defined by subsection 18B of the Small Business Act. SBA is encouraging all eligible agricultural businesses with 500 or fewer employees wishing to apply to begin the process by providing their financial information for this application. So that is the EIDL. And click here to apply for an EIDL loan and advance. You click apply now, and it goes to the same information and eligible for the advance. And then, oh, they got something new here. Okay. Streamline process requirements. Agriculture cooperative. Okay, well, if you know someone that's in the agricultural, this thing is rocking and it's up. And it looks like home loans or sole proprietor loans. Got something new there. So it looks like we're gonna have a new video coming out talking about this, and I'll talk about who is able to take advantage of this. So, all right, thank you for the email. I looked at it minutes before we went live, and this right here, let's see. Oh, there it is. There it is. Updated. I think they were waiting until we went live, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe so.
Maybe. All right, well, I appreciate that. So on the retention credits, once we get past PPP, I'll do a more in-depth video about that, because then it'll be a little more clear on do you qualify for it or not. The one thing I want you to know about employee retention credits, though, is that even if you had them in March and you didn't put in the 7,200 yet, and you're waiting to see if you're going to get PPP, you can put it in later. Basically, it's going to apply all the way till the end of the year. If you put in this Form 7200 to get the refund for it, or basically the credit, which is refundable. And then I'll be doing some more videos talking about all the things that are going on in the CARES Act, but the one that you probably want to pay attention to next, besides that employee retention credit, is the deferral of the employer's Social Security tax. That's 6.2%. So be mindful of that. So if you have a small number of employees, it may not really be worth it to do this, even though all money saved counts. But if you've got a bigger organization, where you're running a huge amount of payroll and you have then a huge amount of this Social Security tax, but the IRS did come out about maybe 10 days ago and indicated that if you're getting PPP funds, you can defer the Social Security tax at the employer level, okay? But once you determine, or it's been determined on your loan forgiveness, you can't continue it after that. So for anybody that's wanting to do that, you need to jump on it now if you're doing PPP. The deferral has no limit, okay? And it's all year, which is quite interesting. So there is going to be some things that if somebody missed out, there'll be some additional help there. But that would be one that we'll definitely want to be taking a look at. As it relates to a number of the other things, like I said, when we get to next week, but if I'll throw this out there, if you're on schedule for RMDs, required minimum distributions on your individual retirement account, okay, you can stop those, because many people that are being basically forced to take RMDs, their required minimum distribution out of retirement, you can stop them. So there's no way to put it back if you already got them, but you can stop them. And then remember this too, if you haven't done it yet, maybe because you thought at the beginning you weren't sure if you wanted to take advantage of this, but if you've got loans and you're not getting PPP money and you're thinking that you might be going into May now, and are you sure you're gonna be able to make some of these payments? But get a hold of your lender, see if they'll go to interest only. If you have loans that are federally backed, and including student loans, get a hold of the lender, because there's special programs, including that they're gonna defer the payment and you're not gonna get any additional interest charged. On the unemployment, we talked last week about this. Most states by now are at least taking the applications for it. I don't know, have you received any information about the PUA in Oklahoma for self-employed, right?
Nothing.
Nothing else has come out other than that. But the federally backed loans, you can get up to 180 days, right? 6 months. No fees, no penalties, no interest, no payments. So you want to take a look at that. And then the last thing is, I would just say this. I said it in my video last night in my update, and I've probably said it more than once, which is if you're still not getting a good sense from your bank that they're getting those PPP funds to you, right? And getting an SBA number doesn't really mean anything. Meaning, are they communicating? Do you feel like you're gonna get the money? Are you feeling iffy about it? And I don't mean like paranoid iffy, but are you feeling like, you know what, I just don't know? Then you need to today, and I don't want Coach to have to come out. Because Coach are gonna come out, Coach gets mad sometimes when the game's over too. You had your chance and you blew it, and Coach even gets more mad because you didn't leave it all on the field. So all I can say, I just beg of you that, I'm gonna just tell you right now, if you're not getting PPP funds, you don't have loan papers by now, you don't have a good sense, you're fooling yourself. You're absolutely fooling yourself. You're putting your head in the sand if you think, well, I think it's just gonna work out. Because I think once this is closed down, it's done. And like I talked before, these smaller banks right now, okay, they're open for business. Take a look at the website. It can't be that hard. Like, maybe I need to do another Coach's video for the last ones that just somehow think, we're down by 3 touchdowns. We got 5 minutes left. That's easy. We can throw 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes. Right? Well, that's assuming the other team doesn't come on the field.
Right.
So get with a smaller bank. I guess maybe it's just like you've had such an overwhelming experience with the bank you're at, but I'm telling you, the ones that are going to a smaller bank, they're like, oh my gosh, it was a breeze. Here's my applications, here's my 941s, here's my application, here's my Schedule C, and then like, poof, it was done. Right? And then the thing is I've talked about it before, the bank that you're with, okay, it's like, well, I've been with them. Well, then they should be even more like disgusted with themselves for not getting this done for you, okay? And no offense to you, as much as everybody wants to feel they're important, but if your bank hasn't gotten it done for you, why are you still there? Like, why are you still banking with them? Why are you gonna continue banking with them? Well, it's just convenient. Okay. You know what? Why, stand up for yourself, baby. Okay? If you're a small business owner, do you want to be as successful as you want to be? Okay? Are you just going to let banks just do whatever the hell they want while you put in your $500,000 a year? While you're leaving 20 or 30,000 in the bank? Why? And the bank's just like, well, we're just trying. I don't know about you, but I would drive an extra certain number of miles every single day to not have to continue doing business with that bank. This is one of the concerns that I usually have about small business owners is for whatever reason you think, well, I don't know, I got a loan with them, or I don't know, they've helped me with this, or I don't know, they brought me chocolates at Christmas, right? It's the same thing when people won't leave their CPA or their financial advisor or their attorney. Like they're just scared to do it. Well, then you know what? You're scared. I'm just going to put it out there. Then you're scared to succeed. You're scared to succeed because to succeed at the most optimal level, you're going through walls. You're making sure that the people that you're hiring, the people that are advisors to you, are working for you. And the bank has to be the one working for you. So all I can say is if you put application in for PPP1, and then you're in there for PPP2 and you still don't have funds, like what is your problem? Like now I just think maybe you're the problem too. Maybe you're part of the problem, huh? Am I pushing on you? Huh? Am I pushing on you a little bit? Huh? You ready to hit the thumbs down? Do it, because I'd rather you hit a thumbs down but be pissed off enough to be now getting on. I'll show JJ. I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on the app. I'll show him. Well, show me. Get your PPP going, because it's about ridiculous right now, and I'm going to start questioning whether or not you really are that hard off if you're not fighting for it? Are you really that hard off? Huh? You just pretending? Is it just fun to put it on Facebook? Right? Because if you are desperate, then how in the world are you not fighting more and you're just being passive and you're laying down and you're just like, well, I mean, I don't know, the bank says they're working on it. Then you must not be really that hard off. You must not be that bad off. You must not be. You're just kidding yourself and it's fun and it's just put on Facebook and oh, woe's me. Because if it was for real and your business was at risk, how in the hell are you just sitting around? How are you not spending all of your time finding a different bank, finding two banks, driving and finding a bank, knocking on front doors, right? Now, I get it. Now, I had talked before about pushing back to your bank and calling and emailing and emailing and emailing. Now it's like I've got a message of like, what the hell are you doing now? Okay? You've done everything you possibly can. You emailed everybody, you've called everybody, you've talked to everybody, and you still don't have PPP funds? Then I don't know if I believe you that your business is at risk. I don't know that I believe you because I don't know about you, but if your baby is drowning, are you just going to sit there and be like, well, I don't know, I called them, they said they were bringing a life preserver, so I'm just waiting. Well, it's been a month now. We're literally been a month since the first time we've applied. And you're just still going to wait around for the life preserver? You know, for what? For what reason?
I don't get it either.
All right, hey, Coach's Corner, I've never brought it live. No. And now you got it, okay? And we should mark down and tell people that if you find somebody and they're more having fun complaining about not getting PP and not doing something about PP, then tell them they need to go 30 minutes into this live to hear from Coach, because I'm just telling you right now, you don't really want it if you're not going after it, okay? You want to sit around and talking about making it to the Major League Baseball. You want to sit around and talk about going to NFL, but you don't want to get up and do the work. You want to just sit around and sit at home and just sit and wait. And then guess what? Now your business is going to suffer, but maybe it's not because you don't really need the PPP funds. You don't really need them. Maybe you shouldn't get them then. Maybe you don't deserve them. Maybe if you don't get them, you didn't deserve it. Maybe it's the universe. You raising your hand?
No,
you just stretching?
Stretching, yeah.
All right, hey, so we're going to take a quick 30 seconds. And I'm going to go run, get JJ the CPA. Coach is checking out. All right, hey, let's go after it. And for those of you that got PPP funds, remember this. Spend it on what you need. Don't be trying to just figure out a way to get to forgiveness. It's not really even possible. You got your money based on 2.5 times monthly payroll. It's not going to match up to then your payroll now and your rent, your utilities, and all that stuff. So just spend it wisely on what it is that you need. Be prepared to just pay back what it is that you didn't have, or you didn't have the expense. All right, so let's get out there and win this football game. We got one last quarter, and it's this week. One last quarter, and it's this week, okay? That's it. Your 5 minutes is here. If you're the ones, thank you, Rob. If you're the one that waits till the final minute, and then you're expecting everybody else to carry you, okay? This is right now. This is it. This is your week, okay? And I will tell you this, if you don't get PPP funds, then you really didn't need them, and then you shouldn't complain about it, because I don't want to hear about anybody complaining about not getting PPP funds. When PPP closes, okay, I'm going to accept no complaining. I'm going to hear nothing from anybody. I don't care at this point. I don't care who you think it's fault and they were a big bank and lending relationship and then they needed this and then they needed that. You've been given every chance, every opportunity. Those small banks, those small credit unions are out there waiting for you to just take the money from them, okay? So zero complaining. If I get anybody complaining when this is closed, I will block you. If you send me an email, I will absolutely let you know it's absolutely your fault. I have no interest in helping you, in any way, shape, or form if you absolutely do not get out there and get PPP funds. Because at this point, it's near impossible this week that you don't get PPP funds. It's impossible. I'm going to just put it out there. Because for the small business that's looking for $10 to $15 to $50 to $75,000, not possible now, not possible that you don't get PPP funds. So if you don't get PPP funds, I'm going to question whether or not you actually are at all in any risk in your business, and quit your whining and quit your complaining and go figure out something else. Because I'm telling you right now, with the small credit unions and the small business or the small banks, there's no way you don't get your funding. It's not possible. Okay? All right, hey, let me go grab JJ. Coach is out.
Just a reminder, there's 290 people on and only 73 thumbs up. So if you could please smash that thumbs up button, as Card Shop Reality says, we would greatly appreciate it. To all the new people that are here, if you are new, if you please would subscribe to this, so then you will get notifications every time that JJ goes live, and it's just a way for you guys to give back.
Show them this. Tell them about J-Mac.
All right. Hi, I never come in the middle of the show, but one other thing that he wanted to go over and share was he's a huge Captain America fan, on top of Superman, obviously, but Captain America is number 2. So he got this cool little dude from JMac, who is CPA JMac, and yeah, this is like the dark version of Captain America with his shield. And whenever we get to take you guys to the office, you will get to see a real life Captain America shield that JJ has that's really awesome. And I think JJ just got back in here. Hi, JJ.
JJ is here. We got... All right, hey, listen, so for those of you that popped in on the live, okay, and you heard a little bit from Coach, hopefully you can handle it. And those that got PPP, I'm telling you, you fought hard for it, especially if you got PPP too. It's got to be a real relief. And what I love here is we see a lot of encouragement going on. You know, like, hey, I got my PPP, stay after it, right? And we know that like Jason and a number of others went after the smaller banks, and what a great way to build a relationship. I was talking with a smaller bank today that I sent a bunch of my clients to, and here's what I love. Banker called and is like, hey, how do we do business with some of these clients? In the sense of, how would we make it easy for them to be able to build a depository relationship with us? Because being a smaller bank, you know, they don't have branches everywhere. But you know, a lot of these smaller banks that you may be like, well, I don't know if I'd do business with them. Well, they have easy ways for you to do deposits, you know, like on your phone, or these little machines that you just feed your checks through, which is kind of now the sign of the times, right? So even if you are going to a small bank in another town, right, on the other side of the tracks or whatever, a lot of these small banks, they know they're small and they have found ways for you to do business. And then it's going, you're back in the good old days. So my first bank account that I had when I was 9 years old, it was People's Bank. And it was downtown Mount Lake Terrace. And downtown there was Lucky's Grocery Store. We had a Circle K. We had a restaurant and a couple other things. And we had a sandwich shop called Arctic Circle. And my doctor was down there. Anyways, I'd go to People's Bank. And of course, you have a 9-year-old opening up a bank account, you know, that's with my mom. Now, my name seemed to be on it. Maybe it wasn't. But anyways, nonetheless, there was Cheryl, okay? Look at that. I remember Cheryl, because every time I came in, Cheryl helped me, you know, up at the counter. And then Cheryl was there and was my teller. And I was with that bank until I left to go to college. So from age 9 to age 17 and a half. And I don't know what happened to Cheryl. I don't know what happened to People's Bank. I think it got bought out. But think of that. If you're at one of these bigger banks and you're now at a smaller bank and they know your name, how great is that, right? So some real benefits there. What other emails do we got there, Miss Amanda? I got my cigar.
This is coming from Les, and he says, JJ, I just watched your video, got too much PPP.
Oh, shoot.
Wells Fargo just sent me a DocuSign for $140,000 more than I need. I called Wells Fargo.
What? 140 grand?
I called Wells Fargo in Texas, and their advice was just to take the full amount and give back the $140,000. But that was from someone that didn't know you could get more than $10,000 for the PPP. Do you think that that's a wise advice? They said otherwise, if I try to amend the DocuSign, I may go back to the end of the line. If I do not get back the $140,000, would I just need to use 75% on payroll of what I kept?
Matt, great question, and I'm loving you, Les. I'm loving that you grabbed that video. I'm glad that you did. And I'm going to agree with the bank, partly because it's the bank that gave it to you, right? So, hopefully you wrote down who you talked to. If not, at least just document who you talked to and what their advice was. And the reason I'm going to agree is not even so much that you're going to go to the end of the line. It's just that I think you're completely out of line, number one, meaning I don't think you'll be able to get back in. The second is that you're going to be in a set of circumstances that maybe you're going to have to recalculate what you're doing and how did you come up with the original information. So I'm guessing if you got that much more, that it includes 1099s. And what I would do is get the funds, but then write a check and be presenting that back to the bank with a letter that just indicates something very simple. And in my opinion, it would be, at the time that we did this application, we applied for the amount that we believed was true and correct at the time based on what we knew at the time. The SBA has come out with further clarification, and it has come to our attention that this dollar amount has inadvertently been included in our PPP loan, and so we wish to immediately return the funds. And I think everything will be okay because you're going to sign loan documents on that whole thing, but when you pay back the principal on it, you give a letter of explanation. I think you do it right away. And then yes, if it's based on employees, which I'm assuming it is with these kind of dollars, then it's at least 75% of what you kept, and then 25% no more than. And I understand why you're asking the question, because when you go to forgiveness, they're going to be like, well, what are you talking about here? You have 140, you didn't even spend properly. But remember this, it's not if you don't reach 75%, everything's unforgivable, right? Meaning whatever you spend on payroll, okay, you're there, okay? And when they're talking about no more than 25%, okay, then you're in a set of circumstances that, basically whatever you're going to spend, you're not going to hit either threshold in essence, but whatever you spend correctly will be the forgiven amount, and then whatever's left over, that's what it is that you're going to return, which you've already done initially. And so then I think by doing that as well, that if there is a question at the end and, SBA is going to come out with more guidance on this, in terms maybe even a little bit on your specific, but also guidance on the forgiveness. There's still more to come, I know. But as it relates to that, there's going to be a way for them to then, in essence, amend the amount that they're basing these percentages on. But regardless of that, yes, let's get the money returned, and then you're trying to spend, everything accordingly, and I would base it on the amount that you are keeping. Let's see. Now, one of the things, I was talking with a client earlier today, so thank you for the question, Les. We let him know when we replied to it, so hopefully you get through that okay. Let us know. Document the heck out of that, document the heck out of it. Make sure that your letter's clear what I just said, right? That it's inadvertent, that based on the time you later learned, those kind of things. But one of the things that I was talking with a client earlier today, and they'd sent me their Excel spreadsheet, and they're just following what I said, which is, spending on payroll and rent and utilities, and what are you spending, and track it, and then when it comes to the end, it's coming to the end. But they were asking what a lot of people ask, which is, but how are we going to achieve forgiveness? And part of what they were concerned with is they said, because we included utilities, but we included utilities that was actually included in our rent. And so our rent already includes utilities. And I said, well, actually, remember this. What you borrowed on was based on your monthly payroll, okay? Your average monthly payroll. And for us, with my clients, it was last 12 months. It was not 19. You can do either or. But anyways, it's the last 12 months times 2.5. There's no way that matches up exactly, right? There's people that don't even have rent, or they have very little rent, or they have a ton of rent and very little utilities. Because when you're borrowing money based on payroll to then cover payroll plus other stuff, it almost kind of drives home the fact that the government was just giving you some grandma, grandma money to go to the movies. Any shout outs, or what else we got? What else we got there, Miss Amanda?
This is a question from Ira. I did get approved for the PPP loan, and I have a question. I am a dentist, and I had to be closed starting March 22nd. Since the business was slow before that due to the coronavirus, I had to take money from my personal funds in order to put it into the workers' profit sharing plan that was due April 15th. Can I repay myself and use those funds as forgiveness?
Well, great question. Couple of things to note. It wasn't due April 15th. You can double check with whoever, unless I completely am missing what kind of plan you have. But any due dates, in essence, after April 1st are all July 15th. So there was probably an April 15th due date as it relates to the plan. Typically, when you're putting those dollars in, if you're extending your tax return, you have until the date of extension to put in. Now, regardless of that, let's say that for whatever reason your advisors knew that nope, the new deadline did not apply to you and you had to do it by April 14th, so be it. Just pointing that first part out. The second is that would be related to the prior year. That would be related to pre-PPP, pre-COVID. So that won't matter to anybody that's going to be looking at your forgiveness. And it won't matter that you put your own personal money in, even if you put money in right now to cover payroll, or you put money in now to cover health insurance for your employees, or any of that kind of stuff. What it is it's from disbursement 8 weeks. So from disbursement 56 days from then, right? So you really, in that time period, shouldn't be putting money in out of your own pocket to pay for things that PPP will pay for, right? You have the money to pay for what PPP is going to pay. So you wouldn't be able to pay yourself back, because first and foremost, that would be pre the 56 days. The second is, even if you are looking at the retirement benefits. So I want to address this, right? You're looking at retirement benefits. Well, what retirement benefits do you get to include? Okay, if it's self-employed, none. If it's on your employees, so you're the employer, it'll be whatever the match is, but for the wages that are incurred, that occur in that 8 weeks, okay? So the match is not, okay, I paid a match in May on April payroll and I just got my PPP money. No, it's gonna be what's the match that occurred on the payroll that occurred in the 8 weeks. And then I'll have a video coming out later tonight, but I represent a company called Surgent CPE. Amanda and I write a monthly show for them. It's on Surgent. I'm going to put a link, and I'll have a, for lack of a better word, a little commercial about it tonight. But I'm going to address some of this a little bit more in depth on that. But know this, the SUTA, the state unemployment tax, the health insurance, any of the retirement benefits. It's going to be based on the employees that are there during the 8 weeks, based on the payroll during that 8 weeks. So great question, because that's happening a lot. And that's a great employer right there, that they're putting their own personal money in. And so you would think it would be fair to go, well, I want to, I put my own personal money in, I want to get paid back. But on this, it won't work for that. But think of it this way. You now have less payroll cost, which means there should be more money in the bank. So not at all is this, well, PPP went to your pocket, but PPP reduced down your expenses, which should increase what amount of money is in your bank account that you could then pay yourself back. But I'm not at all saying this is some sneaky way to correlate it. All I'm saying is PPP reduced down your expenses, which should allow there to be more money in your bank account to then spend on other things, including reimbursing yourself. So just make sure you're doing it carefully and you're not making it look like your PPP's going to your pocket, because it's not. It's going to payroll. So anyways, great question on that. We love our dentists. And thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you are a subscriber since we replied to your question. What else we got?
Our next one is from Liz. Hi JJ, you have been great.
Thank you, Liz.
Owner of business getting PPP money has 46.5% ownership in an LLC, which is just a net lease of one commercial property. Is that considered an other business, as the question on the loan doc reads below? Is the applicant or any owner of the applicant an owner of any other business or have common management with any other business?
So they're talking about the question that's on the application, and they're talking about affiliated group. And the short answer is what they're looking for is if that is an affiliated group with employees, then you need to disclose it, okay? So you can disclose it if you want, from the standpoint of never hurts to just disclose it, but quite frankly, it's just gonna make there be a pause, a question, they're gonna wanna see something else. But the only reason, for that question is if you have an affiliated group that meets that definition, that has employees that you're trying to get a PPP on, that's really what they're looking for there, because if you look further on what's to be disclosed, it's everything related to employees. So I think you're safe, in essence, not worrying about it. If you are still gonna lose sleep over it, then disclose it, but it's not gonna change anything about the loan. It doesn't affect anything, and I don't think at all you're doing something incorrectly by not disclosing it. But if there's somebody on here that thinks you need to answer it, then they and their clients can answer it. But I think at this late in the game too, if you're still asking questions about the application, I'm a little bit worried, and I want you to go back to this live, go back to the 30-minute mark and hear what Coach has to say, because this application needs to get in. So, all right, hey, good luck to you on that. Thanks for the question. Hopefully you are subscribed. Oh, wow, how many people we got on with us, right?
328.
328. Mondays and Fridays are a big day. And I know we're not gonna be on here Tuesday and Thursday this week, so we're gonna miss everybody. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
Going to be weird.
But nonetheless, we've got some other stuff going on. We got any other questions that we want to tackle?
Okay, this is coming from Charlotte.
What's up, Charlotte?
I appreciate all your help and coaching. I put application in for PPP with Wells Fargo back on April 10th. They just had me, they have just sent me docs to sign. Although after watching your coaching video, I applied with several other online banks and I received signed docs with Cabbage. Cabbage says funds will be deposited in 5 to 10 days. My question is, do I sign docs with Wells Fargo just in case Cabbage funds are not deposited, or just let them know I was funded through another bank?
Ooh, I don't know, Charlotte, if I'm comfortable answering that question, just to be honest, because it's like you got two birds right here, right? You got none in the bush, okay? You got two birds right here. And I know that you're talking about signing loan docs, but I think if you sign one set of loan docs, okay, and you get that money, okay, then you don't sign this one, right? Kind of an obvious, but why not just sign loan docs on one of them, keep this bird right here, because they are supposed to fund you. I don't know of anything, but see, this is where because I don't know, this has never happened in the history of the US, we don't have any precedence on this. I don't know if this kind of expires. I would assume that they would tell you, meaning if you sign the DocuSign forms on this one and you let that bird go and you're now waiting for the funding, okay? The funding should come. I mean, if you're signing a loan document, it should come, but I have no idea in the sense of, what if it didn't? I don't know why it wouldn't if you're signing DocuSign stuff, but there are clients that signed stuff before and they didn't know what they were signing and they thought they were signing a loan and all they were doing was signing another document, okay? So I think that, you can pick which one, right? But I wouldn't say anything to the other one because you haven't signed it. You haven't taken the money. Now they'll probably come back with hey, you haven't sent us the documents back. If we don't get them back by this date, then we're gonna have to release the funds. We're not gonna reserve them for you anymore. So pick the bank and then maybe just call the bank and get some reassurances on, is this really mean that the money's coming? Like, it's not a hope, it's not a dream, it's not a maybe. Like, it's 1,000%. I can literally count on, like the sun coming up tomorrow, that I'm gonna get these funds, okay? So if you can get that reassurance, sign with them, but still hold on to this bird. There's no reason not to hold on to it, in my opinion. But here's the thing, I can't think of everything in your circumstances, so follow your gut on it, okay? I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't know why you would get in trouble if you have two birds, you sign one and you don't do anything with the other. I don't know why that would get you in trouble because you haven't taken the funds from both. But I would be a little worried to give you some definite guidance on this because I want you to make sure you get PPP funds. Nothing worse than you do this and then nothing comes from either one. So I want to make sure that you get something. So hopefully that'll help. I figured this out. It's this button in the back. I've been sitting here trying to figure out how.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the question, so I
Oh,
could
no.
have told you that. So I got that for
Oh, you got this. I know you did.
you. And Denim.
Did you show them both?
I did.
See? All right, who's next?
All right, our next
Here's
one.
who's next.
This is from Ernesto.
Ernesto. Ernesto.
Yes.
Here we go.
I got the loan for 30 employees, but now
Wow.
I only have 25. Some people decided to go on a different career path.
Oh.
I understand that I have to give money back for those 5 employees, but my accountant is saying that I'm going to get penalized for having a smaller head count on top of giving the money back. Is this true?
No, the thing about it is, what's the definition of a penalty? Definition of a penalty for me is I'm gonna have to pay the bank back plus interest plus another dollar amount of penalty. There's nothing known at this time. Now, if you do something incorrect, okay, as in you got money that you shouldn't have, you spent it on, the casino, you spent on expenses that you shouldn't have, you said you had employees and you don't, right? I'm not talking about those kind of penalties that may come into play, although none have been defined, but there is no known penalty for you didn't hit it. You didn't hit your numbers. What most likely the accountant means by penalty, which I can't guess what somebody else is thinking, is that when you go to get forgiveness, it could be that, okay, hey, I spent this amount of money, okay, but my head count's down, and maybe still some of what you spent wouldn't be partially forgiven, although if you run the numbers and you run the analysis, okay, if you're spending it on the payroll that you've had, okay, and even if you had to replace a couple of those people that went and did a new career, the first and foremost thing to know is this, and this is where there's a lot of confusion, okay? The confusion part is that the forgiveness comes if you rehire. The confusion part is if you lose employees, this wording of penalty. The first thing that has to happen is you have to spend the money as the grant spelled out. So for you, you had 30, you now have 25. So you're gonna pay it on those 25 employees. You're gonna pay whatever expenses are related to that, the same as you always had. You're gonna have your other expenses that you're gonna pay. And at the end, you definitely should have money left over, okay? And if I'm working that calculation for you, I would think the calculation would end up with whatever you didn't spend is what you're paying back. Now the accountant may be thinking the penalty is, and I'm just rephrasing, the penalty is you have money left over, okay? You pay it back, but there could be a penalty, as he or she's calling it, in the sense that of the money you spent, some of that may not be forgiven. And that may feel like a penalty. Hey, I just got the 20% or less on the battery here. So would that be a penalty? Yeah, I could see for sure how your accountant is saying that's a penalty, because it may feel like a penalty in the sense that you took money, you paid your employees, but it didn't all get forgiven even on the amount that you spent. But then what's the definition of the rest of that money that got forgiven, okay? Because is it really a penalty? In my mind, no, in the sense that you're not paying back more than what you took. You're not paying back more than what you would have to owe other than a little bit of interest, right? It's not, oh, well, here's the amount that you borrowed that you have to account for, and then because you didn't do it right, here's now $250 penalty. No. But the way you'd have to look at it, and I appreciate accountants trying to come with that approach of, hey, we might have a penalty, because kind of really what they're saying to you is it may still not get all forgiven, even the amount that you spent. So there's nothing wrong with what your accountant's saying. But I wish that more CPAs, EAs, tax pros, those that are dealing with the clients, I wish more would remind, though, the client. I was talking with a CPA last week about it. It's what kind of drew me to do this video that I got coming out this week for CPAs on Friday at noon. But what's the rest of that money, right? We're kind of like, so someone, let's just say for grins, you got 100 grand. And for whatever reason, because you only have 25 employees, not 30, you get to the end of it, just pulling numbers out of the air, you get to the end of it, you got 20 grand left over, you spent 80. So you come in and you go, hey, here's your 20 grand back, bank to give back to the SBA. And I spent 80 grand. And then they go through the calculation and they're like, oh, well, you know what? You did spend 80. You owe us the 20 that you didn't spend. But we've done this head count and we've done this and we've done that. And it turns out that based on all these different calculations, of the 80, okay, you are gonna have to pay back, 3 grand of that. So this is the part where I would say, does that really a penalty, right? You got 80 grand for free, okay? For nothing, for free. $80,000 you were given, okay? So having to pay back 3 of the 80 that you spent, where can I go and give someone a spanking that wants to act like that's a penalty? Because the first thing to know is that your employees got paid, your expenses got paid, okay? If you end up owing 3 back of the 80 and you think you were hard done by, then I want you to go and talk to somebody that didn't get PPP money. Like, go find one, put it out on Facebook and put those set of circumstances out there. And, for your accountant, I get the reason they're saying that to you, because that just seems to be the sentiment here. The sentiment being that, well, that's not fair. I spent the 80, I spent it right, and now I have to give back 3 of it? Okay? A penalty to me would be, think of this, a penalty to me would be this, okay? You got 100 grand, you spent 80 of it, okay? You give the 20 grand back and they say to you, okay, well, we're not forgiving 3 grand of that, okay? and you're hit with a $1,000 penalty because you didn't spend it according to all these percentages. That would be a penalty. That's not going to happen, okay? Meaning, you're in a set of circumstances, you got 100 grand, you gave 20 back, you spent 80 on your business. What entrepreneur around here should be getting mad that they might have to pay back 3 of the 80 that they got spent? Right, and that just brings me to the next thing. So last Thursday, technically Wednesday night, but last Thursday, the IRS, this is Ernesto. So Ernesto, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Hopefully that helps. And I hate to ever contradict my fellow accountants out there. And I'm not contradicting. I think that I've explained it well enough that my definition of penalty may be different from the definition of your accountant. And there are some accountants out there that they're putting their belly up on the table, so to speak, man or woman, and they feel like part of their job is to find ins and outs and technicalities for their clients to spend all that money, and then that they don't have to pay any back. So I didn't know that part of our position being accountants includes us being shysters and trying to make sure that our clients are not properly spending the money, meaning that's not proper to find a way for a client to spend money just to get forgiveness. You can't convince it to me ever in a million years that you're sitting down with somebody and they're like, listen, I got 30 employees, now I have 25, what do I do? Oh, well then hire your kid and give this person a raise. Shyster right there, shyster. Get out of the profession, would you? Get out. But let me go back to the IRS came out, completely different subject matter. But I've done a couple of videos on it, and this includes one that I'm doing Friday, as I already said. But how in the world are we at all as a profession, as I mean CPAs, EAs, tax pros, or any business owners out there, controllers, or just the recipients, how is it that we're getting upset that the money that we're getting for free, we don't get to write off those expenses? Like, I don't know, like it really makes me mad. Now, I talked with a good friend of mine who's a CPA, we've known each other forever, and they were upset about it. They're like, hey, were you aware? Like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, I've been talking about this since before it was law, that you won't be able to write off these expenses. So how is this news to everybody? Because while I'm JJ the CPA, I'm not the smartest guy out there, right? There's plenty of other people that know this stuff. Apparently not, but nonetheless, you got free money, okay? And then now the argument is, and even from the mothership, American Institute of CPAs, is making a case. And you know what? Great. I'm glad the AICPA is doing it. I never want to go against or criticize the American Institute of CPAs. It's a nonprofit group representing CPAs, representing America, representing taxpayers. Their heart is always in the right place. So outside of that, though, how in the world how dare we get upset? How dare we that we're using free money to pay payroll, rent, utilities, etc., and now we're going to be pissed off that we don't get to expense the free money that we got? And what I'm hearing is the AICPA, and even with the CPA that I was talking to, and I had a couple of CPAs email me, and all very cordial. And it's like, but this was a capital investment into America. So here's my deal, and this will be a little bit of my theme throughout PPP forgiveness. If this was actually a capital investment into America, then this was the most discriminatory capital investment into America in the history of America. Because if this was actually a capital investment from our government into small businesses, we wouldn't have to go through a bank. We wouldn't be in a situation where any of it would be payable back. There would be an absolute dollar amount given to each one, and every single business that came forward would get a capital investment from the United States of America, from the U.S. Treasury. So don't even tell me for 1 second that the founders of this country, the the politicians, the congressmen, the senators, whatever you want to call them, ever for 1 minute, ever thought the role of government was to invest in business, okay? That's not the role of it. I don't want to do business with the government in the sense that they now are doing a capital investment. And here's the proof of that. Does now the U.S. government own a part of the businesses that receive this capital investment? Is that really the result that those small businesses are wanting? Right? Because a capital investment leads to a piece of the business, okay? And if they're making a loan and they're forgiving the loan and they're saying it's not taxable, and now we're sitting around going, well, but I want to deduct that. Like, what in the hell is going on around here? Like, what in the world? I mean, maybe just my grandfather, Omar Abbott Slater, CPA, is just deep-rooted in me. I mean, it just seems rude for 1 second to even think that you're going to be able to get money for free and then you're going to write it off. And then to act like it's unfair, because here's what I'll say about that. Real easy. Super easy. Okay? If you're upset that you don't get to write these things off, guess what? Just give the money back. And then whatever you spend, you'll be able to write it off. And you know why you'll be able to write it off? Because it's your own dang money that you're spending. That's why you get to write it off. Right? So this whole sentiment of penalties that, well, you're going to get penalized if you don't spend it right. Like, why are we talking this way? Why? You got free money. You got a freaking handout. Okay? You didn't even have to put out your tin cup and you got it full. And then you're like, wow. And then the government's like, don't worry about paying it back. And you start pulling it out and you're buying stuff and you're like, well, do I get to write off this stuff that I'm spending it on? No. Well, what do you mean, no? Right? And if it's like, I spent all of this out of my cup, and then you get to the end, they're like, well, just based on the percentages, life isn't fair, things aren't perfect, gonna have to pay back a couple of coins. You're gonna be pissed off? Like, I can't wait till it happens, because I'm gonna just embarrass the hell out of the CPAs and the EAs and the small business owners. And I'm going to probably become the most boisterous CPA out there to embarrass the hell out of any business owner and any CPA, EA, tax pro for 1 second think there's something unfair about getting free money and maybe having to give some of it back and not being able to deduct it. Like, what in the world is going on here, Amanda?
I don't know, JJ.
I mean, it's like we've all turned into victims. Are you not an entrepreneur? Right? Are you an entrepreneur or not? Because an entrepreneur, first of all, you got to ram free money down their throat. And now that it's been rammed down their throat, they're like, well, I shouldn't have to pay any of it back and I should be able to write off these expenses? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? A shame, shame, shame on anybody that thinks any of this is a penalty. I hope I get 1,000 thumbs down and everybody blocks me that does not agree with this. If you don't agree with this, please stop following me. Don't listen to another video of mine, because I don't want anybody like you getting any advice or help from me if you think for 1 second there's a penalty involved with you getting free money and you had to pay a few of the bucks of it back. How dare you? And then you get upset that you don't get to write off the free money that you're getting? How dare you? You should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself, because you shouldn't have got any of it. It's totally lucky that the government's even doing this. It's unbelievable to me that anybody is finding a reason to be upset. It is deplorable and shameful, and you should just leave the country, because obviously this country isn't doing enough for you, that they're giving you a handout and you're still finding a reason to get pissed off.
Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I also wanted to let you know, JJ, it is 5:25, so you might want to start telling people hi and doing your goodbyes. And we got through the bulk of the emails. So.
All right. Well, so here's the thing. Am I fired up? Absolutely. You know why I'm fired up this week? I'm fired up because we're starting to open back up. I'm fired up because there's people that still don't have PPP, and it makes me mad that people don't have PPP. I'm mad at the banks, and now I'm starting to get mad at the people that don't have the PPP. Okay? No offense to those that are still asking questions, but why the hell are you still asking questions? Get with the bank, get the application in, okay? And go get the PPP funds. Like, that's what I'm anxious about. And then I'm also anxious about is that now we've got the government that's given out a lot of these funds, and there's now money coming in, okay? And now we're in a set of circumstances where we should be happy, right? We shouldn't be finding things that make us upset. All right, here's the deal. We're gonna be back live on Wednesday, and maybe EIDL will be back. I saw from a few others that EIDL will be potentially maybe opening up tomorrow, which would be great. Someone had given us a clue that the agricultural can go in with the EIDL. And then if you're from Fox News or CBS, email me at jj@jjthecpahelp.com. I'd love to take on a show. As you can tell, I can get worked up like the best of them. Sean Hannity, right? All the people over there on MSNBC, and they can get upset about stuff. Well, I can too, right? Put me on national news. I'll set things straight here in the United States of America. So CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, CNBC, MSNBC, CNN. I'm JJ the CPA. I hope you enjoyed this episode, because here's the deal. I know in my heart that our government is doing what is best. And now our entrepreneurs need to fly. And we need to make sure that they can fly. And then part of what makes somebody not fly is all of a sudden start looking around and complaining about all the bird seed laying around. All right, hey, so let's rock and roll. John, thank you so much. Gary, Card Shop, God Dozer, King, Steven. We've got Vine, we've got Yoga Slackers. Hi, JJ. We seemingly don't fit into the box since most of our income stems from 4 months of work, which has been wiped out in 2020. Also used 80% in 19, invested in the company in 2019, not accurate. So get with your bank. They've got some things that they should be able to help you with. Hopefully they're able to for people that are just in those set of circumstances. John Hamilton, Irresistible Truth. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. Who else do we need to say goodbye? We've got Guy and Lori and Blair and Jean.
Nancy.
Let's see. We got, Terry and Dr. Joe, 8872. All right, Dr. Joe says, we get it, we get it. Tammy from Virginia, thank you. Got PPP in the account today. Love it. Sandra, Carla. Let's see, smash the like buttons. I really appreciate that. Oscar, JK, Nancy H, I already talked you up to my buds at Fox. Love it. I really appreciate it. The only way we can get the other networks is if we can school them straight.
God Dozer, while you were going through your rant just a little bit ago, God Dozer said he just kissed the screen. So,
I love it. I love it.
Everybody was saying that they love it, and it's JJ for president.
I love it. I love it. Well, know this. Maybe there was a reason I was doing that. Remember that. Maybe there was a reason. Maybe there's some people watching. Maybe they're like, what's this live all about? And maybe I knew there were certain people on at a certain time, and I'm trying to make sure that people know what I stand for, because at the same time, isn't it entertaining, right? This is entertaining. Not that any of that was entertainment value, but Captain America in the house. Hopefully I did well there, J-Mac. Let's see, Lauren and Tony, thanks, Coach. See you guys Wednesday, 4 p.m. Yes, we're gonna stick with the same time. Thank you, Tony, I really appreciate that. Alex, let's see, Alex L, hopefully you can get to my email next time. See if we can find Alex L's email. Just do it real quick since Alex is on. Alex, you still on? Mickey Mac, hope this week goes well. Keep spreading the truth. Natural heals, JJ. I used your advice. Dump the big bank. Got PPP funds with Allegiance within 1 day. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We got it?
My loan amount included wages line 26. However, that employee no longer works for me. He quit back in November of 19. Can I use that portion of the money in my utilities, rent, etc.? Because my portion will only be from line 31 divided by 52, then times 8.
Well, good question. If your payroll's not there, then you're right. Only that amount would be forgiven on payroll. So that portion of your loan, great question. You were right to include it, but that portion of the loan won't get forgiven because it's meant to be for payroll. So great question on that. All right. Let's see. We've got someone that's confused how they got here. Vine, Rob. Hey, all right, Gwen, Rob. Rob, I sent you a text. Maybe you replied because I'm on the phone. I texted you from Alex L. And let's see. All right, we're looking forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I think it'll be a pretty kickback episode.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be pretty kickback. I think it'll be fun. We're going to get out and get some vitamin D.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons we can't do the show tomorrow, because we'll be out getting some vitamin D. Someone else got PPP. Let's see, Tracy got some some PPP. Let's see, King LLW and Fred. Okay, boom. Loans approved for the correct amount. I'm loving it. I love it, Fred. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Charlotte. I really appreciate that. Alex, everybody that joined us today, we thank you so much. Oscar Canales. Oscar, do we have Oscar's email for those that came on? Thanks for letting us know. Alex L. Let's see. I don't know. Darkwater Megs might be. Have already went back diving. Nancy H. Jean. Thanks for tuning in. Tony. And Tina. Okay, Oscar's email. Hey, JJ, my name is Oscar. I'm subscribed to your channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. I love all your videos. They've helped me so much. I have a few questions if I could get your help. I'm an independent contractor, filed my 19 taxes recently, and have my Schedule C and applied for both the EIDL and the PPP. I received the following funds in my account. Oh, I'm so glad you got both, Oscar. I'm glad, because you deserve it. And when I'm looking at these amounts, you deserve it. So I followed your videos very closely. You mentioned that I should pay myself the following: divided by 52 times 8, beautiful. And then, yes, the rent for utilities and rent. Next question. I moved the entire PPP amount to a separate bank account, okay? And should I make a one-time transfer from the original account that I received for that amount that is divided by 52 times 8, or should I do it in 8 transfers? You can take it all at once, just because that's an automatic forgiveness for you. So you can go ahead and take that all at once, Oscar, on that amount. Meaning and you can put it into your personal if you have a business separate. I know you're Schedule C independent contractor. And then it says, should I pay my rent and utilities from account B, or should I transfer the amount separately back to account A and pay for them now? So account A is the original account, and account B would be the new account. So do you need to pay it out of account B, or can you put it back into A and pay from there? You absolutely can put it back into account A. And the reason for that is that might be where you have the checks or maybe the automatic withdrawals coming out. So the main thing is to make sure you're keeping those receipts in play for anything that you're spending, whether it's out of A or B. So really what's ever easier for you, Oscar, on that. And then I've reached out to the bank that approved my loan, and they said they are putting a package for forgiveness. I just want to make sure I use the money properly and get 100% of it forgiven if possible. I really appreciate your help. Thank you, Oscar. Great email. Thank you for lining all that out. Hopefully it helped. And then as it relates to the package, take a look at it right away, because I'm really kind of relying on these banks to see what information they put out so that I can put some more videos out there. Not that you have to share what you've got, but there should be some interesting things that you'll be able to include in your rent and utilities as a self-employed. You can go to jjthecpahelp.com And I've got a page on the forgiveness page, and it's the self-employed section or list, and it's straight from the SBA. But like gas that you spend in your car that you use for business, you're able to write off. So I really appreciate the question. Thank you, Oscar, and thanks for letting us know. Okay, God Dozer, good night, my friend. Irresistible Truth, thank you. John Hamilton, thank you. Vine, Yoga Slackers, hi JJ, we seemingly, oh, okay, I already answered that one. Let's see, we said Blair just got the koozie, JJ's book and Amanda's book. Thank you so much for that, Blair. We appreciate that. Glad you got the koozie. Gene McIntyre, thanks you guys. The professional speaker, you, and the coach, that's you. Let's see, thanks JJ and Terry and Dr. Joe. Oh, I guess I'm repeating. And we got Tammy and Sandra. I just got 1,000 EIDL and 10K PPP, independent contractor, no employees. I'm so glad. That's awesome. Congrats on that. Just use the EIDL on things that are not part of PPP, right? So things that, cost of goods sold, anything that's not part of PPP, you can use your EIDL for, and you should be A-OK. Let's see. Carla, thank you. Oscar, and let's see. Nancy, thank you so much. And Alex and Alvaro, I think it is. Stephen, I'm asking because, okay, that must be somebody else. Mickety Mac, Natural Heals. Let's see. Gary, anybody else that we need to? Oh, Brian Graves, I love it. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Let's get small business back to business. Love it.
Bean just ordered your book today.
Oh, thank you.
Card Shop Reality, hope you have a good night. Terry says EIDL in the bank Friday, PPP in the bank today. Thanks so much, JJ.
Perfect. Glenda, JJ is the Gordon Ramsay of the CPA world. I'll take that as I'll take it as a compliment, absolutely. Let's see, JJ, it's certified public.
Just an FYI, only thing I said was that we got through a bulk of the emails today. I didn't say that we got through all of them, so tune back in on Wednesday if your email wasn't answered. But
Charlotte, thank you. Yeah, and then also on the email, know this, check out my playlist, because I'm telling you, a lot of the questions that we get, they're going to be covered in the playlist. I've got one that's just talking about understanding PPP, got one on PPP forgiveness, one for PPP self-employed, one just on unemployment, one that's just common questions. And then check out my website, jjthecpahelp.com. Doesn't require an email address. It's just all there for free, but I've got everything broken out. I've got schedules. So hopefully that'll help there in the meantime. And let's see, we've got, all right, Will and Darkwater Megs, boom. And let's see, all right, looks like, oh, I'm bounced down. I guess I'll, Jerry Wilk Jr., thank you, sir. And Terry and Dr. Joe, Amanda, make sure he treats you to a nice dinner tonight. See you both Wednesday, I love it. Denise, got PPP funds deposited in the bank today, but it didn't happen until POA approved. Can I get PPP funds at the 1% use of other biz while collecting PUA? Well, I've got a video just on that. I'd love it if you'd watch that, because it's a hard question. And I think at the end of the day, the PUA up until you got PPP helps you there. But while PPP, the PUA and the PPP conflict. But watch my video, and it might help you just draw a conclusion. Let's see, can I pay a bonus with the PPP? Well, if you normally pay bonuses this year, and bonuses were part of your average monthly payroll, and it's just a normal course, include it. But here's the thing, when you get to the end, the calculation will be done. That's really where it will be determined. If you're doing a bonus just to try and achieve forgiveness, it probably won't work itself out. But if it's normally what you do, then it's already in your numbers. All right, Sandra, thank you so much. CSR, thank you as always. We really appreciate it. Ernesto, at the minute, does he talk about head count discrepancy? So just take a look at it. On the head count discrepancy, it's just going to come down to the final calculation. As much as we want to foresee the calculation. It's going to come down to the final calculation of what the SBA actually helps us decide what's going to be included. Is it the true 56 days? Is it the payroll periods? Is it 2 months of rent, or is it 56 days? So there's some things there. If you're still concerned about it, I'm not sure why, because really what I said was spend it on what you need. What you don't have, you give back. And if you're trying to figure out how to make sure none of it's done forgiven, then with all due respect, don't spend any of it. Just give it all back right now, because you're getting ready to pay your employees a bunch of money. And if there's a discrepancy on head count, know this, that's based on someone that's playing games. That head count crap is for somebody that's going to now pay a bonus or do some games, because if you think about it, your payroll goes up like this and your head count goes like this, that's where there's going to be problems, okay? The problems don't occur if you didn't have the employees and you didn't spend the money. So just stop worrying about it is really all I'm really getting at, is just spend it on what you need, stop worrying about it, or just give it all back, really, if you're going to lose sleep over it. All right, appreciate everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Floors to doors. Can I use EIDL to pay our subcontractors? Yes, EIDL can be used for that. All right, T. Salazar got PPP and then EIDL. No, we don't need to return either one. Just use EIDL for expenses that are not part of the PPP, and then you're good to go. And that would include something like what floor to your doors was just asking there. So. All right, hey, listen, that's right. Wednesday is Gecko's birthday. Look at this. I mean, talk about somebody that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Love ya. All right, hey, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Appreciate every single one of you, and look forward to seeing you Wednesday. I'll have some videos out between now and then. Go get your PPP. Go get it. You need it. You gotta have it. Go fight for it. All right, y'all have a great night. Thanks so much.